So listen, we are picking up on Nun Tesama Base 59b, second line down in the wide lines. Says that true? When there's no one else with you, that you don't make the bracha of Hatov Hamitiv. But we learned, Amrulei, if they said to a person, Yolde Ishto Zacher, your wife had a baby boy, Omer Baruch Hatov Hamitiv. You make the bracha of Hatov Hamitiv. Says the Gemara. So again, this sounds like a person is alone over there, and yet he's still saying Atova Hamitiv. So the Gemara says, Hasam Nami Diika Ishto Bahadei Denechale Bezacher. No, his wife is there also, and his wife is also happy about the birth of a baby boy, and therefore again he's not alone, and therefore he says the bracha of Hatov Hamitiv. Incredible. Tush Gemara says, Tashma Nes Avivu Yarsho. Let's say again a person lost his father, but he also gets Yerusha. So two events happening over here. Number one, the loss of his father. Number two, an inheritance. So the Gemara says, "Betchila Omer Baruch Dayana Emes, ulebasofa Omer Baruch Hatov Hamitiv." So he says the bracha of Dayana Emes over the loss, and then he says the bracha of Hatov Hamitiv for the Yerusha. So again, bepashtos, a person is all alone over there. Hasam nami diika achi deka yarsi ba'adei. No, there he also has brothers, and his brothers are also going ahead and inheriting alongside of him. Tashma, shinu yain ein tzarich levarich, shinu makom tzarich levarich. Halacha l'maisa, again, with the change of wine, you don't have to make the bracha, but with the change of space, you do make the bracha. Change of location, you do make the bracha. Okay, let's take a look at actually, you know, we'll come back to Rashi in just a little bit. So if you look at the Rashi says about say the Rashbam. Rashi says two lines from the bottom. Shino yayin shasi yayin besuda ve'viu lo yayin acher tov min harishon ein tzarich levarich bari pri hagafen. So again, if a person is drinking wine, and in the midst of his su'uda, they bring him a better wine, he doesn't have to go ahead and make a new Bari Priyagafen. But if you change place, in other words, if you go ahead and you go from location A to location B, right? Rashi points out over here, Yotza mikan b'halach lebayis acher v'bi'loya, and you go from house A, then you go to house B, and they bring you new wine, then what's the halacha? You have to make a brand new Bari Priyagafen. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Bar Amar Rabbi Yochanan, so okay, so this is a more involved halacha. So comes along Rabbi Yochanan says, even though if you're in the middle of a su'uda, right, and let's say again in the same su'uda they brought you a better bottle of wine, you don't have to make another Brei Pri Hagafen, because one Brei Pri Hagafen covers everything. But if you were brought a better bottle of wine that was not there at the time you made your Brei Pri Hagafen, you make the bracha of Hatov V'Hametiv. So again, the Gemara is saying, it sounds like even if you're by yourself, Hasam Nami Diika B'nei Chaburah, the Shasu B'Hadei. No. There are also other people present who are drinking along with you, and that's why Halach L'mais, you make the bracha Vatov V'Hametiv. Incredible. Let's go back to Bona Bayis Chadash V'Kana Kelim Chadashim. So the Gemara goes ahead and gives other examples, or the Mishnah gives other examples of situations where you'll make a bracha. So, for example, a person built a new home, or for that matter, again, a person went ahead and acquired new utensils. When do you make the bracha? When do you make the bracha? Only at the end of the day that you do not have something like this. This is bracha of shachianu, or certain circumstances of tov hamitiv as well. So Rav Huna says, when do you make the bracha? Only if you don't have something like this item. Aval yesh lo ki yotze bohen ein tzarich levarich. So it's actually a very interesting position. So Rav Huna says, let's say, for example, you already have a house, right? Or you already have this particular type of utensil, but you get a new house or another house, or you get another utensil, but it's the same type that you already have. Rav Huna says, in this case, you would not make the bracha again. The Rashbam says over here, he says, so we're referring again over here to the bracha of Shechianu. So Rav Huna says, if you already have this particular type of item, then halacha l'maisa, you don't make a shechianu upon getting a new one. In other words, according to Rav Huna, the bracha of shechianu is on something you never had before. But if you already have this particular type of utensil, or for that matter, again, you already have a house, then halacha l'maisa, you don't go ahead and recite the shechianu. Rabbi Yochanan says, no. Afilu yesh lo ki yotzei bohen tzarich levarich. Rabbi Yochanan says, no. And this is the way you paskin, that halacha l'maisa, even if you have this type of house, or you have this type of utensil, if you're getting something new, you have to go ahead and make another bracha. Bosei top of Samech 68. Nechlal, the chikona, the chazar v'kana, divrei hakol ein tzarich levarich. Now, what's interesting is, what about the following case? What happens if you bought something, you returned it, and then you bought it again? Right? So in other words, whatever it is, a utensil, a garment, whatever it might be, an item, so you bought it, right? You bought it, and then you went ahead and you return it, and then you bought a similar type of item, or for that matter, the same item for that matter, that it sounds like according to everyone here, you would have to make a bracha of shechianu. Again, because the only machlokes seems to be is, if let's say you're buying an item, you already have that type of item, so Rav Huna will say, no shechianu. Rabbi Yochanan will say, yes shechianu. But if you had it, you returned it, and then you bought something, either the same item or a similar item, halacha l'maisa, it would appear that everyone agrees you do, divrei hakol ein tzarich levarich. You don't have to go ahead and you don't have to make everyone agreed that halacha l'maisa, you don't have to make a shechianu on the new item. V'kedami, others say, Amar Rav Huna, lo shon ela shelo kana v'chazer v'kana. So Rav Huna says, this halacha is only taught assuming that she didn't buy something, return it, and buy it again. But if you went ahead and you bought something, returned it, and then bought a similar item, ein tzarech levarich. You don't have to make a shechianu. That's Rav Huna. Rav Yochanan says, no, afilu kana v'chazer v'kana tzarech levarich. No, even if you own something, you bought something, you returned it, and you bought it again, you still have to make a shechianu. Mechlal, we can infer from that, the chiyeshlo, the kana, divrei hakol tzarech levarich. We could infer from that based on this iged amri, that if you already owned something, right, and then you bought something, a similar type of item again, you would still, everyone would agree that you would still make a shechianu ultimately again on that newly acquired item. So Mary is the kasha meisvei, bana bayis chadash ve'ein lo ki yotze bo. So let's say you built a new home and you didn't have a similar home, or kana kelim chadashim ve'ein lo ki yotze bohem, or you buy new utensils and you don't have something resembling those old those utensils. In other words, you're buying something new, but something new in that you don't presently possess anything else that resembles that. Sarach levarich, you have to go out and make the bracha of shechianu. Yesh lo ki yotze bohem, but we can infer from that. The Brisa says that if you have something similar to that house or to those utensils, even though you're buying something additional now, in tzarich levarich divrei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says, halacha l'maisa, because you already own that type of item, you do not need to make another bracha. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, ben kach tzarich levarich. Either way, you have to make a shechianu. So let's analyze. So bishlama lelishna kama, according to the first approach, right? Rav Huna Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yehuda, Rav Huna holds like Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. El lishna basara, but according to the second version, bishlama Rav Huna Rabbi Yehuda. So I understand Rav Huna holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Ella Rabbi Yochanan the Amar Kiman, but who would Rabbi Yochanan hold like? Lo Rabbi Meir, but lo Rabbi Yehuda. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Meir or like Rabbi Yehuda. In reality, even according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you acquired something and then returned it and then reacquired it again, or either the same item or a similar item, you'd have to make it on the shechianu. The kana, and the reason why they frame the machlokes as a case of where you own, let's say, a particular item and you buy another one of that same item, to highlight the position of Rabbi Meir, the strength of Rabbi Meir's position, to teach you that halacha l'maisa, if you already own a particular type of item and you buy another item of that same type, you don't have to make a shechianu. B'chol shekain, and all the more so, kana v'chazar v'kana dein tzarich levarich. All the more so if you bought it, you returned it, and you bought it again, that you don't have to make the bracha. V'liflagu b'kana v'chazar v'kana v'liflagu b'kana v'chazar v'kana dein tzarich levarich. But why don't you go ahead and instead frame the machlokes as dealing with the case of where you acquired an object, you returned it, and then you reacquired it, and say that you don't have to make a bracha, and that shows you the koach of Rabbi Yehuda. To which the Gemara says, no, koach de teira adif. The koach of heter, right, the permissive koach, ultimately, again, is more profound, and therefore, halacha l'maisa, we choose to frame it in that particular way. So I just mentioned to you, just the halacha l'maisa, it's important to understand, when you buy something new, even if you possess the same item, similar item, you still make a shechianu, because the shechianu doesn't really go, like we'll call it on the specific category of the item, but it goes on the item itself. So for example, if a person has a shirt, and he buys another shirt, even though he has that same shirt, he makes a shechianu on that new shirt, a new garment, a new object, a new item. Even though you may possess something that is like that already, you still make a brand new bracha. So again, the halacha is, if you buy something and then you return it, and then you buy something again, similar item again, you make a shechianu ultimately again on that second purchase. Incredible. The Mishnah said that you have to make a bracha on the difficult things or the bad things, the same way you make a bracha on the good things. So Dami, what's an example ultimately again of something that is bad? The shakal bitka ba'are Afagav ditava he lidide demaska ares sirton v'shivcha hashtami arahu. So, for example, let's say your field is flooded. Your field is flooded. So even though later on, it'll turn out that the flooding of the field is a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Because apparently with the flooding of the field, ultimately, again, there's more sediment that's there. Nevertheless, right now it's bad. Now, why is it bad? Because the flooding may have destroyed all of your crop right now. So, in other words, even though right now it's bad, but ultimately, again, it's going to be good. And therefore, Allah Chalamaisi make a bracha of Dayan HaEmes on that. Now, what I will point out is something very interesting over here. That this comes really what the Gemara is going ahead. What the Gemara is doing is halacha l'maisa. We're talking about a specific negative event that has the ability to turn out good. So that's why the flooding of the field right now it's bad. But halacha l'maisa. But Allah it'll turn out to be good. I just want to point out that the way we operate, just in a life context, is we assume that every negative event follows this model. That the way we look at life is, no matter how bad something is, we believe that at the end of the day, Gam Zulatova, there is going to be good that comes out of every life circumstance. So the Gemara is framing this halacha with I should say, a more easy to follow case. My field is flooded, I lose all of my wheat, but at the end of the day, it's going to be good for the field because now there's more sediment, and therefore, again, the field is going to be moister, more saturated, more dirt, more soil. It'll be great. But the truth is, even in a situation where you can't actively connect the dots like that, we still believe hashkafically that everything that occurs to us in life ultimately is for the best, is litova, and therefore, again, we always recite the bracha of Dayan HaEmes. Incredible. The ala tova. So the Gemara says, similarly, again, you make a bracha. So remember, again, ala tova. Right. So again, a person goes ahead and makes the bracha of hatova hametiv, even on a situation that may turn out to be not so great. So the Gemara says, Hechi dami. What's the example of something that is good, but that has the potential to really turn out badly? So Hechi dami kegon da ashkach metzia. Let's say you find a lost object. Now that's a good thing. Afagav dirahi ledidei. Now that could right now it's good if you found a lost object. So shkoyach, and we're talking about a lost object that you're allowed to keep. But why could it potentially be bad? Di shamale malka shakile mine hashta miatovahi. If the king hears that you found something, the king may choose to take it for himself. And Rashi points out over here, once the king's taking stuff from you, he may even end up taking more than just that found object. So this is an interesting example of something that is good right now. It's good right now, but it has the potential to turn bad. So even if so nevertheless, you make the bracha of hatov hamitiv on that particular circumstance. So it's really incredible. So if you put these two concepts together, what really emerges is something fantastic. That when negative things in life occur, we have to be like future focused and recognize that right now it's bad, but Emir Hashem, I believe with all of my heart that it's going to turn out good. And when good things happen and that I recognize that have the potential for bad, I have to live in the moment and appreciate the beautiful good that has been bestowed upon me. So it's this fascinating dialectic of living in the future and living in the moment all simultaneously. Absolutely incredible. The Gemara says, Haise ishta mu'uberes. All right, well, so you know what we're going to do? We'll stop over here for today. Shkoyach, everyone, a little bit of a shorter piece. I'm apologize that I didn't get a chance to learn with everyone in person, but Amir Hashem, I look forward to finishing up the Masechta with everyone. Okay, wishing everyone a wonderful day.